Welcome to Kick-Ass Love. I'm Tina Overbury, and this is episode 4. We're doing something different here. We're writing a book, his book, live, right here on this podcast. And the book we're writing, it's about what it really takes to come back from hell and build a life that doesn't just work, it means something. I'm a story coach and a brand new expressive arts therapist. For the last 10 years, I've helped people write, author, and publish their books. The people I work with have big stories, and Trevor's is just that. So meet my co-host and the guy at the heart of this story, Trevor Castile. In a world where men are taught to man up and stay silent, Castile is speaking openly about sexual abuse, trauma. His story challenges the idea that vulnerability is weakness and offers an alternative. Truth-telling is kick-ass love. What happens when an expressive arts therapist from Bowen Island helps a northern construction guy to write his book? Hello, Mr. Trevor.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, Tina, and friends out there.
Friends.
Hi.
Yay. It looks like it's
Yeah,
sunny in both of our worlds today.
yeah, pretty blessed. Yep. A little bit of blue sky and a little bit of white cloud sprinkled out there, so
All
pretty
right.
good.
Well,
Nice
welcome
to see.
everyone to episode 4. And this is it's a big episode. We think we haven't recorded it yet. My assumption is that it's a big episode. And it's just touch base. In our last conversation, we were setting up this one, which was you were talking about it's time to share your RCMP statement, which is what started the investigation and started
Mm,
this whole public reveal of what you endured, and also part of you reclaiming your power and naming the harm that was done. And so as we go into this, listeners, I just want you to know and Trev, I'll hand the mic over to you in a
oh
sec.
no,
Say
please,
whatever it is
yeah,
that you
go
want to
ahead.
say too, but know
Yeah.
that part of the journey, I think that we're on together is certainly in my work as an expressive arts therapist. What I work in is what is unsaid and how we can bring forward that which wants to be shared and honored and acknowledged from, as you have said, from the unseen into the seen. So we can honor that journey. And that's part of the process that we're on. And so for you as a listener, you're part of the healing journey for Trevor. And hopefully his story is part of your healing journey, should there be anything there for you that wants to be seen. And know that in today's episode, while Trev, I know that you have taken painstakingly good care of everyone by going through your statement and even writing down places where, warning here, let's slow down. We
Yeah.
just encourage you as listeners to take care of yourself and pause when you need to pause. You can always come back. The recording's here,
Mhm.
and reach out if you need support. So I'm just gonna hand over to you, Trevor. Anything you want to say before we get started for our listeners and for yourself today?
Yeah. There's a few things. Thank you, Tina. Um, and thank you, friends out there, for joining us again. Um, this is it's going to be a hard one. Yeah, it's going to be a hard one. Um, Kick-ass love in action. You know, so eating my own medicine. But yeah, so it's the interview statement given to the RCMP um, November 6th of 1996. And but what I was just thinking too was, the soul, as I've talked about, Well, there's two things. One is at the end, towards the end of the last episode that we did, when I was sitting in the Alberta hospital parking lot in the car there doing my road trip. I did speak to you out there directly about exactly what Tina's talking about, is taking care of yourself. And if you need to not watch it at all, or if you need to watch little bits, or, whatever, or if you even want to watch it, it's whatever's right for you. So do whatever, wherever your compass in your heart's pointing you with it. But part of this is was my soul was tortured, as I said, and it was seriously tortured, and it was tortured for a long time. And I've written that it would be so much easier. I bet you there'd be a documentary or something done on me already a long time ago if I was physically kidnapped for 7 years and sexually abused and physically kidnapped. But since I was mentally kidnapped for 7 years, it is so fucking lonely. I would be much more accepted, much more understood if I was physically kidnapped. So it's the isolation torture is immeasurable.
Mm-hmm.
It's measurable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of us, or I can't say a lot of us, but a lot that don't make it.
Mm.
So, yeah, maybe I'll just what I have here is oh my goodness, I've taken my time here. I'm not going to jump right into the statement just yet, but I've got 10 things listed. I've even got them numbered in red. And this is the order of the things that I'm going to say to you today, and however many we get done, we get done.
Do you have them on a piece of paper, Trevor? Can we see it?
So yeah, so they're all laid out on the table in the back here, and I've got yellow stickies numbered because it's part of my conditioning is to remain calm. And the more that I'm organized, the more I reduce the chaos, and the better, the calmer I am. So and right here from an organization standpoint, I wish you could see everything. I've got two whiteboards mounted over there in the front entry with all kinds of tasks and actions and things like that. I've got papers on my desk. I've got boxes and papers here, and then organized stationery. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables here with documents laid out in chronological order. The amount of research is immense in different areas. But the first two things that I'll grab here out of the 10 stickies that I have laid out for you today are the first three. And again, however much we get done, we get done. But this is where my heart is pointing me, so this is why I'm doing it this way. So the first thing is a writing I did August 4th. That's 2 days ago. It was Monday. I actually put a title to it afterwards called The Madness in My Mind, but then I scratched it out because it's not right, but it's part of it.
Hey, Trev,
And it's,
before you
yeah,
start, I just want
please.
to support you in sort of situating yourself in this,
Thank you.
centering yourself, and so what I encourage you to try on is that I know that part of your open-heartedness is to bring people in to your experience. And I want you to remember to gift yourself that this is as much for you as it is from you. And so as you read these pieces, if you can imagine that you are giving parts of your story back to yourself, almost visualizing, receiving as you read, so that at the end of this session, you don't feel emptied out. You actually feel filled up. And that's important for anyone going through any trauma work. We don't want to re traumatize our system by one, living in it again, but two, also being extractive. And so I just want to see if you can situate yourself in that center of this is for me and I'm nourishing myself. This is medicine for you.
Well, I will say I I love what you just said. And it's spot on. And thank you. The interesting thing is that I know already that this is good because, and you know what? It's number 5, but I'm just going to jump to number 5 right now because you referenced it.
I love it.
So I'm just going to jump to number 5 right now. And it's part of the research that I'm doing and the care and the preparation for this. But after every episode, it if my soul was tortured, the more that my soul is seen, the more I heal. We're taping these episodes. After every episode, Tina, and my friends out there, you, after every taping of an episode, I'm healing. I'm healing because I'm finally being seen. So number 5, what I have here is it was in episode 1, and I've gone back and I've transcribed our episodes. I've analyzed them. So I've actually documented the time and certain things and quotes that have struck me. And I knew with this one. And so number 5 is a quote from you, Tina, where in episode 1 at the minute 7 minutes and 30-second mark, where it's seen versus unseen, exactly what you just said. And the quote that you referenced, you say here, you said, there is a healing element of being in our story and sharing it, which is exactly what I just said. Being witnessed in that without having to push it. Because as much as we are here, knowing that we're writing this book together, and there's a few other things within that, there's something that I've witnessed in you, Trevor, that is kind of set free, if you will, when you're seen. And the pain you endured was unseen.
Mm. Mm.
There's something that I've witnessed in you that is kind of set free, if you will, when you're seen. And the pain you endured was unseen. So what we're doing here is healing my soul every freaking episode. And bless you and bless the people out there for even showing any damn interest in this. And my God, I hope it helps other people. Never mind the formula or the strategy behind. So if we're if you're good, yeah, okay.
Good. Yeah, you're good. I'm good. You're good.
So
Let's
this is a
begin.
writing that I did, and it was again I was in tears the other day, and the suffering has been again immeasurable, so hard. There's good days, there's bad days. I was sitting in my dad's chair, the recliner here, and I was just crying, and I was having a hard time. And it's because I feel so freaking alone and isolated, trapped. No one gets me. I'm a foreigner. I'm so alone, and I don't fit in because I'm strange. Yet I dig to figure out my strange because I still choose to live, but I don't fit in. So nobody can understand me, for nobody knows what he did to me. Nobody knows what he did to me. It's infuriating talking to others. Yet I see it's infuriating for both sides. I make people uncomfortable, for I am uncomfortable. And unfortunately, comfortably uncomfortable. I cannot escape this. I cannot be normal. He received, it was actually a 4-year prison sentence, not a 3. He received a 4-year prison sentence. I remain alone 42 years and counting, isolation for the rest of my life, yet I did nothing wrong to be put into this prison in the first place. I was just a 13-year-old. I just lost my dad. His time gets reduced for good behavior or an application and approval for a pardon, but that's not available to me. I am extreme, but I don't want to be. I am different, and I don't want to be. I am ugly, and I don't want to be. I don't fit in anywhere. I am. I am. Yeah. Sorry, I don't expect these types of things to happen. I'll take a moment, take care of myself. And that's something that we could even dissect a little bit later on or look at later on, Tina, or discuss later on if you wish, or if you wish. But it's something that was 2 days ago.
You, there's nothing to
That was,
dissect. And what I mean by that is,
yeah, I'm just
these
throwing it
are,
out there.
yeah, these are moments, these are thoughts. Mhm. I am,
So
I am, you said. I am. Beautiful.
so for sexual abuse and all that kind of stuff, it's just goes to show you. Um, it's a, a prison sentence that you never wanted, you never asked for, and you have it for your whole life. So I wish the judicial system inside was a hell of a lot different than the judicial system outside. Um, so the second thing that I have here, if you're good, Tina, to move on, and everybody out there,
Beautiful.
thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your being with me. I have 3 news articles that I've looked up, and I've seen them before over the years. And what I've done is I've blacked out um, to take care of and the names even of the perpetrator. Um, and so the first article is from Northern News Services. It's entitled "Former Health Boss is Charged." So this is when I charged him. This is all the lead up to the RCMP statement. Okay. And not only that, some of these things I've referenced in the previous episodes. That's why I want to bring them up to be really factual here. Um, and you can see the hard work being put in. Never mind everything from the facts of what matters. Um, so this was a news article on January 15th, 97. So obviously he had just been arrested, as I said, in January 97 from the statement that I gave in November 96. So the title is a former territorial government official is facing charges of indecent assault and gross indecency involving a Yellowknife man. Me. The allegations against him stem from incidents that allegedly took place between 1982 and 86 when the victim was a youth. He was the executive director of a health service, and since then he has been doing contract work for the Department of Health. He was active on several health boards and served as president of the Healthcare Association of the Nibiti. He was arrested at his Yellowknife home on Sunday and is scheduled to appear in court February 18th. Police say their investigation is continuing and more charges may be laid. The investigation began last fall when the victim approached the Yellowknife RCMP and laid a complaint of assault. That's when I did it in November. The Assistant Deputy Minister of Health said that the department was unaware of the charges until Monday morning. It was a shock to me, said the Assistant Deputy Minister of Health. It wasn't anything we had any prior knowledge of. This deputy minister said that this man played a major role in the development of healthcare in the NWT. He was a key player in the development of health boards, he said, and he is extremely well known. This is giving you people some context. The second article, that was when he was arrested. The second article is when he pleads guilty. Former health administrator guilty of sex crimes. Man who developed the North's healthcare system pleads guilty. You see how a 13-year-old boy didn't have a chance? We're not even talking religious twisting here. We're not even talking the church yet. The resume of him versus the resume of a 13-year-old boy. As I sent a little text to you there, Tina, I was managing my hockey stick. He was president of health boards. He was managing a hospital. I was managing my hockey stick.
And
A former executive, yeah, go ahead.
And I think there's an important pause here that, those of us who've experienced sexual abuse, we often think, I should have done something. I could have been different. I could have this. I could have that. I could have this. When in fact, it's a beautiful example. You were managing a hockey stick. He was a working professional. There's absolutely no responsibility on the child, on you at all, on anyone listening who's experienced sexual abuse. It's never, ever, ever, ever the responsibility of the person being abused.
No, it's not. And you know else what I want to highlight? No, and you're bang on there, and I want to make sure that value is heard with what you just said. Now the second point that I'm trying to make here, which I don't think is hit very often, is the fucking mismatch. Is the mismatch. Look at his resume versus Trevor Castile 13-year-old resume. He's an experienced gladiator. I'm a little kid with a hockey stick in the arena with an experienced gladiator who's suited up in armor, has a freaking sword, and I got a hockey stick, and I'm 13. And he's battled many times before this. He's seasoned. He's nourished. Mm-hmm. He's ready to go. I didn't stand a fucking chance. This guy managed health boards. He managed hospitals. He managed people. So I just want to really highlight the disadvantage, factually, the disadvantage of, from a resume standpoint, of a kid versus an adult that does this. And so many different dynamics within that to be looked at, which is rarely looked at that I've seen. Mm-hmm. So the second news article here is former executive Mackenzie Health Regional Health Services pleads guilty Friday to 2 counts of sexual assault. This was on July 16th, 1997, 2 months before his sentencing. This man of Yellowknife was convicted of indecent assault stemming from incidents that date back to the summer of 1982 when the victim was a youth. He was also convicted of a series of sexual assaults that occurred between January 1983 and December of 1987. So that's the years that I said that it went on. It went on more than that, but we'll leave it at that. He was arrested at his Yellowknife home on January 12th. The former Deputy Minister of Health said he played a major role in the development of healthcare in the NWT. He was the executive director of the Mackenzie Regional Health Services. He was also a member of several health boards and served as president of the Healthcare Association of the NWT. He is facing one further sex-related charge that has been deferred to a later date. A publication ban protects the identity of the victim, me, which you rarely see. Released on bail after his arrest in January, he won't be in custody until he's sentenced on August 27th. And understanding I was on city council at the time when I charged him. I was about 27. Okay, and the last news article here is former health chief is sentenced. This is his sentencing now. This is again from the Northern News, September 3rd, 1997. Closure for a sexual assault victim and his family can finally begin after this man, 50, was sentenced Tuesday to 4 years imprisonment for indecent assault and sexual assault on a young man. This is a quote from the NWT Supreme Court Justice. This was conduct of an insidious nature, said NWT Supreme Court Justice Virginia Schuler while handing down his sentence. She reminded him, the former executive director of the Mackenzie Regional Health Services, that the maximum term of imprisonment for sexual assault is 10 years. The Crown sought 4 years imprisonment, while the defense lawyer for a 2-year sentence to be served within the community. The sentence in this case must express society's view that crimes such as this are reprehensible, said Schuler. Among the aggravating factors for Schuler were breach of trust, seriousness of abuse, repeat activity, prior conviction, which I talked about, Dawson Creek, and offending while on probation for the same crime. So he was molesting me while he was on probation from the crime that he got in Dawson Creek. Mitigating circumstances included the fact that he admitted his guilt from the beginning and that he had been seeking help for his sexual addiction since the spring, and blah, blah, blah. The victim was between 13 and 18 when the offenses took place. That's factual. Those are news articles.
Just take a pause for a sec. There's a reason that you shared the factual pieces for us and for yourself. I know facts matter to you.
It goes back to exactly, this is the whole reason is because of what I shared in the quote that I read that you had said in episode 1. My soul has never been able to speak. I have been strange. I have been odd. And I have been ridiculed for that in some cases. And ridiculed in really shitty ways. And again, this is why some of the people don't survive this. Because you're surviving in a foreign land inside that you know nothing about, and it's so confusing and so messy, and so like there's just no bloody words. So the reason that I read these things and facts are important is to speak for the unseen. And for speak for the people that haven't made it. The people got no fucking clue. They don't understand because it's not it's like you go to church and what do you think faith is? You know, faith is believing when you can't touch it, when you can't physically see it. But some people in religion, and especially these days, Yeah, it's brutal.
Would you say to speak for the unseen and to speak for those who didn't make it
Yeah, and to speak for myself.
and to speak for yourself? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's something I just want to see if I'm pulling on the right thread here that you've expressed to me that, at that age, as a child, your reality is, you trust your reality. And then when something happens like that, like sexual abuse, like religious abuse, like your father dying, it explodes that reality into fragments. And it can feel like the world is chaos. And that's the experience. And so there's something I see in you that holding on to facts reminds you of, oh, this is the reality. This happened. And you have your feelings, but you also have these facts that ground you into this world, into right now, into being here. We want you to know the content shared on the Kick-Ass Love podcast is based on Trev's personal lived experience. These are his reflections on healing, accountability, and transformation. He is not a licensed psychologist or therapist, and I am finishing up my diploma as an expressive arts therapist. I am the space holder for these conversations. The information and opinions expressed are not intended to diagnose, treat, or offer medical or psychological advice, and this podcast is not a substitute for professional support. If you are experiencing mental health challenges or require clinical care, please seek help from a qualified healthcare provider or licensed therapist in your area. Call 811 for a helpline responder, and if things are particularly dark in this moment, call 988 from anywhere in Canada to reach the Suicide Crisis Helpline. Your journey is valid, and you don't have to do it alone.
It's like this is a reality environment. This is the real environment, and it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be damn well said and acknowledged and accepted out there. And if you're not going to accept it, well, then let's have a fucking conversation. Come and sit with me any day. I'm not going to be a dink to you, but let's have a conversation face to face. If you don't believe that this is real, let's have a conversation.
If you don't believe that this is real, let me show you what's real. I will show
They
you
should
what's
serve they should serve a fucking lifetime sentence just like us. But that's anger talking right now.
real.
So and at least I can stop and I can acknowledge that in the middle of my anger. Like holy shit. Does that say something?
Yeah, way to go.
But I'm telling you right now that it at least needs to be acknowledged in this damn world that we live with the sentence for the rest of our life when we didn't even ask for this fucking shit when we got it as a kid. It changed our emotional development. That's
Mm.
why I'm strange to some people, even to people that are my loved ones. That's why there's defensive walls built on both sides sometimes, because it's a protection mechanism because you don't know how to deal with it. So I get it. But there are so many people that fucking suffer from one person doing this shit. They haven't just sentenced me, they sentenced my fucking kids. He did. He sentenced my family. So I'll just take a breath here
Yeah.
and calm down. But
So, Trev, you've got, uh, do you have more readings or writings for us? Or do you want, what do you want to share next?
yeah, thank you, Tina. So it's a yeah, incredible. As I said before, the world inside is so much bigger than the world outside. So this is just referencing that.
Mm.
And I have to be better and I have to control myself, but be gentle with myself at the same time and kick myself in the ass. So here we go. So the third thing that I have here is a poem I wrote, and it's called Suffering Sucks. And again, I don't know where this episode will end today, but I will keep the same order. I won't change anything, and we'll just continue on with the next episode. But it's entitled Suffering Sucks, and this was written on Monday, July 14th. And this is when I was actually traveling down towards Edmonton on the road trip. And because suffering just got way too much in Yellowknife for various reasons, as I said before in the previous episode. And so I just pulled outside on the other side of White Court, grabbed my Frosty from Wendy's, which is my treat. And I pulled out into a farm road because I was just like, I was struggling so much inside the car. And it's just like, okay, you know what, dude, your soul is screaming. You got to do something here. You got to get something out. So I pulled over into like this dirt road, farm road, well off the highway, or I couldn't even hear the traffic. And then I got into a little nook on the side of a field, and there's a little red barn in the distance or so. So I actually took some pictures. And I set up my camping chair with my trunk open on the back, right along the gravel road. And then I put my drink out there, and then I grabbed my little notebook here, and then I wrote this poem. And it's entitled Suffering Sucks. And I wrote this in about 15 or 20 minutes. Furious. I was furiously writing. So here it is. It says, "Oh, how I hate suffering, for it's been oh so very long. My soul completely exhausted, my heart most certainly torn. My mind uncontrollable at such a blinding pace. I reach, I scream, no one at all to hear me in my mystic dark place. I've forever been alone, I comfort not just. Homeless on the inside, this recently discovered in my feeble attempt to reconstruct my lifelong loss. My soul, my spirit, raped again and again, even long after he's gone. Oh, so many times. He ate and he ate and he ate and simply left me to lie. How am I here when so sad and so dark, with not another who could possibly hear my violent screams of more blood-curdling loss? He is loved by all, then who am I? But a morsel in his constant meal to keep feeding this two-faced lie. I hate him. I hate me. I am disgusting and tattered and torn. I am a miracle, I'm told, yet no feeling of this yet felt born. Chaos and lies, conflict deep down, forevermore will live in me, for I am unworthy to see more. It's incredible, his power, his force, his domination, his gall. He struts and he struts and he struts to showing what he wants, when he wants, as he hypnotizes all. We danced so many times, just me, the grieving young boy in this seasoned make of a man. Cat and mouse, more church potlucks, again and again. Right in plain sight, he looked, he pierced through deep into me. I tried to escape again and again with no luck. I was but his fool and even his fuel. My father long dead, cancer killing this 44-year-old man. He, a church organist, a church deacon, my protector, and his friend, a so very dear part of my soul. His friend, oh, this family and church friend, boy, did he jump in with glee. He was most certainly famished and excited and so ready to dive into this new smorgasbord 13-year-old me. Impeccable timing, incredible opportunity for this dark angel, a dark angel such as he. And so, while I could go on and on and on with endless more, his disease now ironically fuels in a much different way to a much different new shore. I've lost count long ago all my endless broken gutted times, the ones, mostly all the ones in secret in his deliciously devious world of a dark, long sly. The ones I reference long past any physical sign. A professor he is, still of a different devilish domain, his private, seclusive, insidious university of hell, coupled with his shitload of shame. The early foundation of love, of trust, the core care that I before the 13-year-old. I recently rediscovered some remnants, some shards to attempt my very best to help patch and repair my bloody and three-quarter eaten and ravaged little Trev's soul. I am beginning to see him much more clearer, so very many levels of this dastardly dark, flicking gently, exploring on more, flicking on more lights, gently exploring to seek out all my lost parts. And so I continue to grieve, to acknowledge I am changed. I am oh so different to now see the new bits I see. Yet I go on, for I deserve to find and to save so very much more of me. Much more of my wounded are out there screaming to me in the night. And so I fight, and I fight, and I fight, and I will forever fight with all of my might. Suffering, it so royally sucks. But I need it to enter, to build me stronger, to bring much better, much more profitable, much more successful, not even luck. I am but a simplistic speck in this minuscule life, but I fight on. I make my mark. I will stand up for my right to my good life. I've got suffering plus courage equals resilience below. I have kick-ass love is coming October 3rd. And I have look out in capital letters with an exclamation point underlined. Look the fuck out.
Look the fuck out. Just want to read those last three lines of the piece back to you as you generously gave it to us. I want to give it back to you. I make my mark. I will stand up for my right, for my good life. Just prior to that, you said, and so I fight and I fight and I fight, and I will forever fight with all of my might. I'm going to repeat what I said. I will stand up for my right, for my good life. And I know inside of you, there are many days, minutes, hours, weeks of fighting against. And inside of you, there are many moments, hopefully days, soon to be weeks, months, where you are fighting for. And it's a bit of a dance. And look at you go, showing up for you, showing up for those who didn't make it, showing up for those who are also fighting against and fighting for. But most importantly, showing up for you and your good life.
Yeah. Thank you. Mm. Mm. I, yeah, thank you. I know this stuff by now. I know all this stuff by now. It's just, mind you, I don't, obviously I don't know everything because I've already spoke about that. I hardly know anything. But the basics after so much therapy, so many sessions, EMDR therapy even, for decades of shit, which I have to pay for, ironically enough. And I never sued his ass because I didn't want his money. And it's not about money. That's not how I heal. And I didn't want to be tainted by it. But it's speaking like this. I I think it's gonna serve maybe several purposes. But the I have been alone all my life. Nobody fucking understands me. Hell, I didn't even understand myself, especially until this last 20 months of investigating myself. So I didn't realize that I didn't love myself. I had no clue that I didn't love myself. And I was 54 years old at the time, 2 years ago. And to have that much therapy, even have gone through EMDR therapy 10 years ago, and to still not know from a foundational standpoint that I did not love myself, that shows you how insidious, as Justice Schuler said, this disease is. And since much of the disease, if not all of the disease, lives in the unconscious, there's no justice system for the unconscious, for it doesn't understand it. There's no justice system in society or they don't understand it. Hell, they run away from things that they don't understand in society. Because uncomfortable, I see more courage in kids that I'm working with and inmates that I'm working with than I do in some businessmen that are very successful. So, so thank you. It's simply to raise this for myself to not be alone anymore and not to feel alone and to feel strange and then just to shut up inside. And it's also to raise this to speak for the people that cannot be spoken for, that feel the same way, or the people that have not made it. They deserve to have a voice.
Whew, this feels like a very good place to end our episode today. And Yeah, your art is beautiful, Trevor. And
Thank you.
I'm speaking to your poetry, the way that your own healing journey is creating beautiful art for the world. What a gift. What a gift. I I want to acknowledge you today for staying on the roller coaster, on the peaks and the valleys and the hot places, and cooling yourself down, and really the way you never left yourself today. And I want to acknowledge you for your courage and the way that you found this place. And I'm going to preface this a little bit with sometimes when our wound is so present, we can kind of be in the wound and share from the wound. And that is what it is. I have no shame about that at all. None. But what I want to acknowledge you for was the kindness that you gave yourself while in it. And that's you were able to touch that today, to be kind to yourself while in it, so that you didn't come out of it more hurt or just in the same old hurt. It's like you transmuted pieces of it into something nourishing for you. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to do on a healing journey. And well done.
Yeah, thank you. I'm getting better at that. That's for sure. I am.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a win. Just it's getting better in the process. I mean, biggest thing is to be aware that that's actually there. So, and a lot of this is a lot of us that suffer from this, I would think, at least for me, we don't know all the rules of the Monopoly game, yet we're playing the Monopoly game. So if we would just know the fucking rules, we would have half a chance. But we don't even know the rules, yet we're playing this on this game board. So knowing the rules makes a huge difference. And so a lot of the rules I'm finding out on my own with my own self-investigation. Um, the other thing too, with what you just said, is so many people are so quick with judgment these days. So many people, like we're being programmed, and from it's so high paced, it's so fast. We're spinning. I feel that we're going faster and faster and faster. And the reason I can say this is because everything I'm describing here right now is what I've analyzed inside myself. Therefore, I can analyze the external environment a lot easier because I've analyzed myself in the same manner. So everything I'm going to say is what I see in the world. Well, that's exactly what I saw in myself. So I, everybody has a good message. How I deliver my message is incredibly important. So I don't want to give people the opportunity to jump on something I did to discredit me right away. So I'm trying to control myself the best that I can to protect the integrity of what we're doing here and the message, even though I'm fighting conditionings. Even that for people, they should see as going, holy shit. Not that I need applause because I don't. I'm not asking for that. But what I'm saying is that I need to protect the integrity of how I'm delivering this, never mind the substance of what I'm delivering. How I deliver it's probably even more important than the substance. So am I calm? Am I controlled? Am I thoughtful? Am I being respectful? All of these types of things, which I believe these basic things we're losing more and more in our world today. And that's where does conflict come from? Well, just open up your fucking eyes. But there's two things just before we close up, and these are very quick things. They were also on my list of 10, but they're super quick. And I think they're a good closing for me with what we just did today.
Go for it.
So number 4 here on the list of 10 that I have that we've got partway through is to repeat the scripture of Proverbs 16:32 that I shared with you earlier. And it says, better is he who is slow to anger than a mighty man, and he who rules his spirit than he who captures a city. So it says this verse highlights the value of self-control and patience, suggesting that these qualities are more powerful than physical strength or military conquest. And
Oof.
again, here's a different version. Better to be patient than powerful. Better to have self-control than to conquer a city. So I wish people going to church would actually, how much did Jesus talk about love in the Bible versus how many times did he go in a temple and throw around tables and chairs? And what's the percentage and the ratio of that in the Bible? Well, isn't that percentage ratio difference what we should be practicing in life if you do follow any type of religion or faith? And so is that ratio or percentage being followed today by people that actually practice their religious faith? I think there's a lot more table throwing and a lot more chair throwing in temples going on today than there is actually love. So that's the first comment. The second one, I'll leave that with you. There's a lot of power in what I just said there too, and it's not me, it's somebody else. The uh, the fifth item was what I already shared with you earlier today about what you said, and the pain that you endured was unseen. So sorry, it's the sixth item then, and basically it goes back to the definition, the American Psychological Association definition of health, which I shared with you once before, but not word for word what it is. And so and this is all what we're doing. It's the healing, or for me, the healing of my soul. So hence, that's why what I just referenced from the scripture, what I just referenced from yourself, Tina, because the soul's of the foundation and everything else flows from that, right? So it's being efficient with dealing with the source. So the American Psychological Association health definition is word for word, the condition of one's mind, body, and spirit. The idea being freedom from illness, injury, pain, and distress. The condition of one's mind, body, and spirit. The idea being freedom from illness, injury, pain, and distress. So what we're doing in these episodes is giving my soul bits of freedom. And what a blessing. And thank you for being here with Tina and I. And thank you, Tina.
Let's both take a breath for this big episode. All of us, all listeners, all of you, let's just take a cleansing breath. And another one, taking in what we need and releasing what we no longer need. Thank you for your work today. Thank you for your poetry today. Thank you for your heart today. Thank you for the joy you bring and the warrior, the loving warrior that you are, Trevor. I enjoy every hour we have a chance to be together, and I learn from you. Yeah. Thank you. And thank you, listeners. We'll be back for another episode carrying on. But am I right, Trevor? Will we be moving into the RCMP piece next time?
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely will. So yeah, for sure. And yeah, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you being with us.
Thank you for being with us today in today's conversation through poetry, the facts, and the heart of what it means to be seen, to reclaim our story. In our next episode, we take the courageous next step where Trevor will read his full RCMP statement from November 6th, 1996. The words that began the investigation and changed the course of his life. Well, it's not just a podcast. It's a build site. It's a blueprint. It's a fire pit where we tell the truth and we don't look away. And it's a living example of what it looks like to move forward using the scars of trauma as tools for healing. Take good care of yourself and keep living with some kick-ass love.